to do.
What was his question?
He's like, how'd you come up for the idea for the writer's block party?
Yeah, I like actually really like that. Why don't you talk about it?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So the writer's block party, for those of you that don't know, sorry to make it.
Sorry to make this episode about you.
Sorry.
Care about?
Yeah.
Okay.
People care about this.
It's the second Friday of every month at Canton Brew Works. I know it's a little bit of a trek, but I don't know. I just think that overall, my philosophy on it is I think that the Detroit scene, why not here? Like, why do we have to move to Chicago and LA and all of that? Like, why can't the scene be amazing and great here? And the way that the scene can be amazing and great here is if we all start fucking writing more, right? And I feel like so many people are told by a lot of higher up comedians too, like, no, just do your same 5 minutes. Do your same 5 minutes every fucking... Really? The first 5 minutes you wrote, that's the best jokes you could possibly write, and you just want to do that for years and years? No, that's stupid. So I think you should write all the time. Like, sure, have your test and true one, do that for paid shows, whatever, right? But you should always be like, what's my next greatest joke? Because your first 5 minutes you write is not going to be fucking gold.
Right.
It's just not. I mean, maybe, but it's random. Like, inspiration.
Let's call them out.
Also,
telling
it
people
just gets
to only write 5 minutes.
I don't even need to say it.
The
You've
other
all
thing
been
is-
told by probably many higher comedians, oh, just stick with your same 5 minutes forever.
No,
6 to
I've
10
never been
people
told that.
every day
That's so
tell
stupid.
me that I need to
6
write
to 10 people, yeah.
every day.
I love that that's just going to be an inside joke that sticks. 6 to 10 is, but anyways, but my whole thing is that I think that the whole fishbowl thing, not everybody's cut out to do like improv in
it's
30
tough.
seconds.
Right.
Yeah,
It's
and
like,
so
oh,
to get
talk about dry erase markers, I'm like,
right. So I think it's like give them a
Erase.
little bit more time, at least a few hours, something like that. And some people can spin out
agree.
gold. Give them a second. You know what I mean? And just doing random props and seeing what happens. So yeah. It's for everybody.
Wait, so have you run one of these writer's block party, or is that new concept?
We've done 4.
Yeah, 4.
We've done
Okay.
4. Yeah. So the last one was small, but it was nice. It was all the boys.
So how does it work?
That's what they say about
what's
Yari's
the
dick.
format?
Can't roll.
So you follow the Writers Block Party at CBW either on Facebook or Instagram. And 2 weeks prior to the show, I put like 5 random prompts, just like, hey, write it. And basically the point is you don't have to write all 5 prompts. You just have to have a set that includes a new joke that includes one of those prompts. So your whole set doesn't have to be new, but most people do the whole thing.
Include a new, okay.
Yeah, just try. Yeah.
Interesting.
And so when you go to the mic, it's fun. It's also like part of the motivation was like, we all see each other's same set 5,000 times. And so nobody listens to each other.
That's why
right?
That's one thing I really like about it.
But we all listen to each other because we know it's new jokes. Yeah, because we don't want to miss whatever new joke. So I think the listening is better too.
Yeah, nothing is more fucking mind-numbing than seeing the same comics do the same set over and over again.
Right.
But also, like, if I get bored doing the same jokes over and over again, and then I just don't like doing comedy at that point.
But then
so the idea that that's what you're supposed to do is fucking stupid. Also, at some point you have to get to an hour. If that's the whole point, so you can't keep doing your same 5.
Yeah, like at some
Still
point.
doing a terrible. Oh,
No, I'm doing Jeff Goldblum. Sorry that you couldn't
He's
keep
more
up.
of a ooh.
Do the same 5 minutes 12 times, call it a special.
There's a way.
Yeah, exactly, over and over.
I did math.
But I also think that some people get intimidated.
Yeah, have the rest, fatty.
Because you'll be at a mic, right? And somebody will do their same.
Don't do it, please.
Yeah, somebody do their same set, and they do really well, and then you go up trying to do some new stuff, and you falter. So then you're like, oh, maybe that's not what I should do. Maybe I should stick with my same stuff. So by forcing everybody to do new stuff, I think it keeps the playing field even between new and older comics.
Yeah.
Because it just means, did you work on this?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep.
I've actually thought
fuck
about
LA, fuck Chicago.
Yeah. Well, not fuck
LA
shit,
already
but-
got fucked.
But I just feel like we shouldn't need to go to those. How about we make it better here?
Yeah.
Like
fair.
that's my thing.
Yeah,
I like
the
my
scene's-
home. I like being
He's
here.
kind of taken a hit over the last year or two.
Well, everybody likes to go
How's it
places,
taking
and
a
that's
hit? I
fine.
feel like it's.
Oh.
I don't know, it's not as strong as it was. I feel like maybe 2 years ago.
Really?
Something like that.
Well,
I
yeah,
mean-
post pandemic,
The
it kind of
number
blew
of
up.
mics, it was popping for a minute, like immediately post COVID.
Yeah,
like there were really good mics.
New Way was like there was 100 people in the night at New Way.
New Way was popping.
Yeah. New Way sometimes still pops. It just depends.
It has not popped the last couple times I've been there.
Yeah.
Trixie's was popping, but that died, obviously. What was on Wednesday nights? I mean,
Parts and Labor.
When Parts and Labor was on Thursday nights.
Yeah.
It was popping.
Do you think it's just because people are less interested in comedy?
I don't know why.
No.
I can't diagnose the
I think
issue.
it's the mics. Nobody gets value from being an open mic host. Like, well, people don't see the value in being an open mic host.
I mean,
because I think
there is value, but a lot of people don't see the value, and so they don't want to do it.
I just can't find a place to do it.
That could be it more too.
I think people are more interested in comedy now than they have been in a really long time, but just watching stand-up comedy in person but online, if that makes sense. Like they'd rather watch stand-up comedy on like YouTube Shorts or like Instagram Reels as opposed to
that. I think the thing is that people, like, at least locally, there is a big scene, like, because we all know like how big the scene is, but nobody else knows that. People just think, okay, House of Comedy, Mark Ridley's,
the clubs being so small.
They go there, and the clubs don't really do a good job of fostering a community. They have like one
because they're
open
very
mic a week.
gatekeepery. There's a lot of bad gatekeepers, and it's just like, if you want the scene to be good, just let people that are good get in. It shouldn't matter whether they've sucked this guy's dick or that guy's dick.
Say it for the people in the back again.
I don't know.
Are
If
you
they're good, they're
actually
good.
agreeing with that, or are you just
No, I actually agree.
Okay.
In fact, this is conjuring up an image of someone I know.
Ooh.
No, just
No,
nothing.
it's just
Are you talking about?
no.
Oh, okay.
No,
I
not
was gonna
your
say because
enemy.
we're friends now.
Yeah,
so.
I always
Yeah.
like.
He's talking about Joe Rogan.
Yeah, Joe Rogan.
No, who are you talking about?
I'm talking about Joe Rogan.
look.
Are you
It's.
talking about me?
I'm talking about Joe Rogan.
Yo Rogan.
I understand how
Rogan.
people can get into the gatekeeper mindset. I understand
Oh,
how
I know
they
who
get there,
you're talking about.
but I
Retard.
don't think it serves the scene good.
No, it doesn't.
Because there's a bunch of people that end up dropping out early, and then they're like, yeah, I guess they weren't into it. It's like, no, maybe they just saw that it was very futile because they saw them, you know what I mean? They saw them getting hits. They saw them going up big audiences. Like, I don't know. I had somebody bold-faced tell me after I had done 30 minutes and killed in a huge room. All right. I video proof of it online, Skippy Rose Comedy on YouTube. But yeah, after I did that, they were just asking me like the gigs that I had done, and I'm like, oh, I'm really proud of this gig that I just did. And they're like, you don't have 30 minutes. I'm like,
Oh, shit.
what are you talking about? Like, you're just telling me that I don't, like, just because you don't think that at my years in that I should. I'm like, there's no timeline on funny.
Right.
Like, you just, and also it's just like, there's something very different about somebody that just goes to open mics maybe once or twice a month and gets booked, as opposed to somebody that's going to open mics 4 or 5 times a week. Who do you fucking think's better? The one putting in the seat time. It's always the one putting in the seat time. That's the same with racing. It's the same with comedy.
I thought you were going to say racism, and I was like, I guess.
Well, no, because I used to date
dude.
I used to date a race car driver, and he constantly was saying that the race goes to whoever has put in the most seat time, no matter what. Like, so you just want to. That's why driving simulators are really big for them, because they can constantly be doing it.
Yeah. No. Yeah. They're like.
And I just applied the same thing to comedy when I first started, and I haven't really.
Wait, hold on. I want to circle back. You dated a race car driver?
Yeah, amateur, but I mean, he still did it.
Was he fast in bed too?
No, unfortunately.
Did he have a race car?
What kind of race car driving?
He would do, well, he did drifting, but he would also do champ car, a lot of champ car stuff.
I don't know what that.
You know, race car spelled backwards is Skippy Rose Comedy on Instagram.
There's my guy. There's my guy. But yeah, I just feel like we all should just support the talent that we have, encourage each other to be better, and just everybody should come together to make the Detroit scene what's happening.
Yeah,
I think that's,
love the
Now we're sounding like the Peels.
and we should all hold hands and sing "Kumbaya" together.
Well,
we should
no,
just book more
but-
people. Like, don't just book your friends. I mean,
Right.
you know, it's
And I know it's tough to like, if like you were saying, I understand like the mentality of kind of being gatekeepy and wanting to put your friends on, but it hits a certain point where it's like, okay, we've seen your friends 50 billion times.
Well, and I think they start believing their own, like, oh, they're the only good people. I'm like, open your eyes.
Yeah, never
dude.
believe your own hype, you know?
Yeah, or sometimes I feel like the people that are most insecure about their own comedy, they don't really listen to other comedians and whether they're funny or not. Like they just want to hate and critique. And it's like, yeah, sometimes people are going to go up that have only been doing it a month and they'll fucking kill. It doesn't mean that their kill doesn't mean anything.
Right, yeah.
Just, you know what I mean? Like, don't be jealous. Be excited that there's someone else that's good. We can all be good. It's not a pie. Just because somebody's funnier doesn't mean you're less funny.
Yeah.
Just be funny.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Malachi,
That's what it's all
be
about.
funny.
yeah.
Come on, man.
Very well put.
Well, that's what she said.
Because it's like
Yeah, don't be jealous.
a prime example. Like
Stop being
people
jealous.
were like mad at him for being on Sam Talent Show. And
This is a real thing.
yeah, this is a real like people were upset about that because he hasn't been doing it as long and people don't think of him as being that funny.
Okay, you didn't have to say it.
Right. But
I feel
I
like-
gave him the confidence to go.
Right,
And,
yeah.
You know,
It's all because of you
assert
that he,
himself.
you know.
And
Yeah.
this is the thanks I
But
get.
it's like the anchor. I think that when you see someone that's been doing it less time than you get somewhere, you shouldn't think to yourselves, they shouldn't be there. You should think to yourself, I should be
Yeah.
there. What can I do to get there? It's not about the person that got it.
Yeah.
Like the anger should be more directed. Like, how can I
It shouldn't
do
even
it?
be anger. It should
Right.
be like drive.
Fire.
Yeah, it should be drive. Yeah. Well, because dude, after there was a guy who did the that competition I was talking, the Comedy Gauntlet.
Yeah.
He was doing it for less time than I did, or like doing stand up for less time than I did,
What
and he
race
like
was he again?
he got further in the competition, and for a while I was like, oh man, that sucks, like because I was like kind of jealous, and then I was like, wait, no, like that just means that I need to work harder on being funnier. And then I remember,
whatever, yeah.
and then I remember like what it was like for me when I was like first starting out at the same time period in which like he was, where like my drive was just so much higher, and now it's like I feel like I can just go up on stage, say whatever, and it's like, okay, that's the mic. Well,
Yeah.
what happened to me, like trying out new jokes every single time I went on stage, and like going to the like competitions or events and like really, really bring my A game.
Well, and also I think that I think that when you first start out on the scene, you haven't been discouraged as much.
Yeah.
And I think the longer you're in it, you kind of get beaten down.
Jaded.
Like, why didn't I get that gig?
R.I.P.
And sometimes it's just random. I think sometimes it's like you just weren't thought of. It doesn't mean
Yeah.
that they looked at your name and were like, they're not as funny as this person.
Yeah.
It just so happened that the people they thought of were these people. It doesn't mean that you're not funny just because you're not on there. But
Exactly.
I think it's hard to tell yourself that.
Yeah.
Like, I struggle with that. I struggle with not getting down, like when I see like gigs that I really wanted to get. I'm like, why am I not getting these? But I never think, why did they get it? I just think,
Right.
why am I not getting this?
Well, with
and it's a better mindset.
And with certain clubs, you can actually kind of tell why you didn't get something.
Sometimes.
You know what I mean? Like certain like specific local clubs, you can typically tell why you weren't put on a show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know a lot of the
I'm trying to
time.
say something, but I don't know what you're saying.
Well, even traveling though, like to different like comedy scenes, I have noticed that it's somewhat. Maybe it's not every club, but I do think that like bookers like to book people that are good hangs with them
Yeah.
more than anything else.
Yeah.
And it's hard because if you aren't a person that, I don't know, is particularly social or drinks or like really parties like that, maybe you don't get as many opportunities just because you're not a good hang.
Right.
And that's a ridiculous stipulation to get.
I would
I
rather
don't
put
get
someone
bored.
on my show who's really, really funny, who I have nothing in common with,
Yeah.
if it means the audience is having fun, as opposed to me being like, oh, well, there's, I guess, just, I mean, for lack of a better term, like, oh, there's a dud. Of me talking to them where I don't know how to speak to that person.
Right.
Or I might not have anything in common with them, or
Yeah.
maybe I actively dislike them,
Yeah.
you know?
I noticed when I got pregnant, well, when I first like started to like be pregnant, it's like, of course I wasn't as good of a hang because I had to go to bed earlier and I was like crankier and I wasn't able to drink and shit. And I was just like,
I ran
fuck
into the
this.
same problem with my pregnancy.
Yeah. No, but at the same time, because I was sober and getting more rest, I definitely think, like, in my mind, and a lot of people have said, I'm like, I thought that I wrote more, my jokes got better, my sets were better and sharper, all of that stuff, but I got less bookings. And it's like, I think it's because I wasn't as good of a hang.
Right. When I always notice whenever I have like a tighter schedule, as far as like I'm getting up early in the morning, I'm working, and then I go and like I have Drinking smoothies.
Your David Goggins.
And I have like a full
6 to 10.
I have like a full routine. What I find in that time period is more opportunities. This is hard to explain, but like more opportunities to laugh at things and find things funny because I'm so in my own routine that breaking out of that is now funny, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Where it's like, if I'm doing nothing all day, I don't think of anything funny.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, wow, I never do nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I always feel like the busier I am and the less time I have to feel myself doing well on a mic, that's typically when I do the best.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It seems random, to be honest, sometimes.
Yeah.
But I did notice that when I was sober, just ideas came to me randomly.
I guess the more you write, the more your brain is primed to come up with. Because the more I write, the more ideas come. And when I stop writing, it's like, I can't think of any new bits.
I have the opposite. If I'm like trying to find jokes or material, I can't find shit. But like when I'm just
I'm saying if you set the time, if you're like, all right, every day, 5 o'clock, whatever, you sit down, you just write. Work on your old shitty bits that might even never fucking work. But as long as you sit down every day and like work on your jokes, then the new ideas pop up.
And not necessarily in that writing session, right? You're just saying like because it gets your brain
when
thinking.
Every day when I'm like, okay, even if I'm working on old stuff that I've already thrown out, right? If that's what it takes to get it started.
Yeah.
Then when I'm driving, I notice the thing that turns into a bit.
Right.
Or whatever.
Yeah, that makes sense. You're making your brain more pliable kind of thing.
You're primed for it.
Yeah. All right. That makes sense too. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Every time I've done that, it's like a couple new bits every week.
It can't hurt. It can't hurt to have a designated time. Right? It can't hurt you.
Out of the #1 Metro Detroit Comedy Podcast, no big deal.